Hello, my name is Mateo Chavez Lewis, and welcome to Music Theater Theory. Whoa. So, today I'm going to be reacting to the Company Broadway Revival's performance on NPR's Tiny Desk Concerts, which is a series that I just absolutely love. Check it out if you haven't. There are every amazing artist and Broadway casts and bands have done little tiny little concerts that they film, which are just amazing pieces of music. So check out every single one of them. But especially the Company Tiny Desk one, which we are reacting today, courtesy of the request from Potter Broadway Fan 11. So shout out to Potter Broadway Fan. Thank you for your request. And what do you want to see me react to next? Put a comment in the chat and let me know. Any song, any Broadway performance, anything of that nature. I love to hear your requests and I love to hear your thoughts. Let's go, check this out. So the Company Broadway Revival iconically was, took the show Company, which was originally written to have a male protagonist who was afraid of marriage, and modernized that by having a female protagonist who's afraid of marriage, played by Katrina Lenk in this cast. And Bobby Conte, I think is his last name, plays one of the character Bobby's lovers and sings this song "Another 100 People," which I want to focus on today. So let's pass it over to Bobby. Ready?
Another 100 people just got off of the train and came up through the crowd, while another 100 people just got off of the bus and are looking around at another 100 people who got off of the plane and are looking at us who got off of the train and the plane and the bus maybe yesterday. It's a city of strangers.
Did you hear that? He almost like ran out of air at the end there, but I feel like it was a choice. Like, this is obviously such a hard song to sing because there's so many words you can hear already, but it almost feels like he chose to run out of air there as an acting choice instead of actually losing his lung capacity. I feel like he feels like a very trained singer who probably has lung capacity for days, if I had to guess.
Some come to work, some to play.
And by choosing to run out of lung capacity, choosing to run out of air there, maybe yesterday, he emphasizes how wordy the song is and how overwhelming the idea is of all these people. Oh my God.
Of strangers, some come to stare, some to stay.
Listen to that vibrato. Some come to stare. Like how fast it is. I can't even do it. It's amazing because it involves such relaxation and so much airflow.
And every day, the ones who stay can find each other in the crowded streets and the guarded parks. By the rusty fountain.
What a face that he makes there. That's such a that's fascinating to me because something about this rings true to me. Like, it feels like a correct acting choice, even though it's a little bit especially when you're looking at it close up, it feels a little bit unhinged, let's say.
By the rusty fountains and the dusty trees with the battered marks, and they walk together past the postered walls with the crude remarks.
That vibrato, jeez.
And they meet at parties through the friends of friends who they never know. Will you pick me up or do I meet you there? Shall we let it go? Did you get my message? Cause I looked in vain. Can we see each other Tuesday if it doesn't rain? Look.
Do you see how good of a job he's doing of taking this very wordy song and making each thought count? Do you know what I mean by that? Like, did you get my message? Cause I looked in vain. Can we see each other? He looks up if it doesn't rain. Every single, even though the thoughts come so quickly, every single one of them he makes a moment of, and he does something with his eyes or something with his face to communicate the thought, to make it so that we understand the thought, even though it's moving by really, really quickly. So that involves being, not only is he such an amazing singer with such a beautiful, open, free vibrato, which is really hard to do. Try it. Try doing a super fast, wordy song with all those consonants and not allowing those consonants to get you tense in your jaw. It's really hard. And the fact that he's so free in the jaw, that he's allowed his vibrato to be so free after such a wordy little verse is very impressive. So he's an amazing singer. And then also we have these very, very specific thoughts coming so quickly, and he's switching from each one of them and making them each so clear and distinct. It's a fantastic performance. And I mean, Matt Doyle is getting a lot of publicity for his amazing performance of Getting Married Today, which is another very wordy musical number in the show Company. But I think we should also give Bobby some credit for the amazing job he's doing with this iconic masterpiece of Sondheim's as well.
I'll message you tomorrow or I'll call you and explain.
The vibrato. I'm so in love with this vibrato.
And another 100 people just got off of the train. It's a city of strangers. Some come to work, some to play. A city of strangers. Some come to stare, some to stay. And every day, some go away.
So that's very interesting that he's looking up like that. That adds a lot of that adds a dimension to the song for me, that he looks up there, because I've always thought about that line, "Some go away," as, you know, you're losing you lose a friend, you break up with somebody. But now that he's looking up, it looks like he's thinking about somebody who's passed away, which I've never thought of in this song before. And I don't remember there being in the book anything about this character having lost somebody close to them. So put in the chat if there is, and if that's like a commonly known thing about Company that I forget. But I don't think there is, and he's looking up, right? So it feels like he's talking about some go away, like some people die every day, which is a very kind of dark detail, and kind of changes the meaning of the song a little bit. If it's about connections between people and things, and that's how it relates to the theme of marriage, it makes it interesting that he's talking about some go away in the sense of death instead of some go away in the sense of people fight and break up and leave New York.
They find each other in the crowded streets and the guarded parks, by the rusty fountains and the dusty trees with the battered barks.
Do you see how this song repeats a lot, right? We've got the same kind of verse and chorus structure again. Na, 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 na. We get that over and over, and he's making it develop. Now, musically, what he's doing is, instead of keeping it in that really rhythmic place that it was in before, now we've got burn each other in the dark street, like he's evening out the rhythm a little bit, so it almost feels like he's doing an even triplet, or like a I was just doing like a 5 tuplet, like evening it out so that instead of being it's more even and drawn out, and it clashes a little bit with the rhythm underneath instead of bouncing off the rhythm underneath, if that kind of makes sense. Instead of we get and he's really digging into the evenness of that rhythm, which is a choice and is not in the sheet music, at least definitely not in the sheet music of the original. I don't know, whoever did the arrangements for the Broadway revival may have put that in, but I doubt it. I'm pretty sure that's a choice on Bobby's part to dig into that. And vocally he's doing it as well with these little like growls he's doing, and he's letting go of some of his vocal technique, right? The beginning was very, very proper and very floaty, almost Mandy Patinkin, right? Like that very floaty, light style of singing with the very fast vibrato. But now it's, and they find each other in the there's a little bit more of that going on, which builds the energy of the song. Even though it's a repeat, it feels new to the audience.
And they walk together past the postered walls with crude remarks, and they meet.
See, there he let go of his vocal technique as well. Instead of crude remark, right? Instead of letting it fly and relaxing, like he was doing before, now you can see his tongue is really tense. You can almost see like that. Crude remark. So he's digging into it a little bit, which is like not proper classical technique. But when you're an actor, you know, you don't want to always be singing with perfect classical technique, because real people don't produce speech perfectly all the time. When they get emphatic, things get tight, and so as an actor, you want to learn how to navigate that. And I think Bobby's doing a great job of that. Let me play that back. Do you see how tense his tongue is?
And they walk together past the poster walls with the crude remarks.
There, see? Oh, like, and then his lips go to crude remark. So he really digs into it. Which is great. I always love when people, and in all these analysis videos, I feel like I'm almost repeating myself, because I always talk about the things that the people do in the performances that aren't quote unquote perfect, right? I always talk about in my Patti LuPone analysis or my Bettina Miller analysis. You can check out one of those up here. I always, in both of those videos, I talked about how they don't sing exactly what's on the page and how that enhances the performance. And I think that's true here too, in terms of like singing with a technique that isn't perfectly classical. I think it adds so much energy to it, which is amazing.
And they meet at parties through the friends of friends who they never know.
Do you hear that? Through the friends of friends who they never know, instead of through the friends of friends who they never know, changing the rhythm.
Will you pick me up, or do I meet you there? Or shall we let it go? Did you get my message?
Yeah, that was a nice big long pause there that he added. And I always talk about this. It's so funny. Bettina Miller did it in Stay With Me. Patti LuPone did it in Ladies Who Lunch. These moments where you pause and then finish the sentence, and instead of doing what's on the page when it's written on the page perfect. And it really emphasizes that last thought. Should we meet you there? Should we meet you there? Or shall we let it go? Right? As soon as you take that pause, or shall we let it go, gets more meaning. Whereas if you just did what's on the page, pick you up, or do I meet you there? Shall we let it go? Right? That's fine. That's great. But it adds meaning to it when you add a pause, especially when you're repeating something, like in this song, that line repeats a few times, I think. Or maybe even just 2 times, but still, it's a repeat, so now it's the second time around. He's adding meaning to it by adding the pause.
Each other Tuesday if it doesn't rain. Look, I'll message you tomorrow, or I'll call you and explain.
That was awesome. So I've been talking about how his classical technique is great. He chooses to let go of it at particular moments as an artistic choice. That was awesome, because what he did, call you and explain, super tense, explain, and then he lightened up like halfway through the note. Call you and explain, right? So clever. Like what a cool, interesting use of vocal technique to communicate an emotion in a story. I also like they changed the lyrics in the modern one. I'll message you tomorrow, or I'll call you and explain. Before the show was written in 1970, the original lyrics are I'll call you in the morning, or my service will explain. Now I had to look up what a service was. Anybody in my generation probably had to look up what a service was. Or like a telephone service or an answering service, because we don't have those now, because we have text messages. So when they're updating it, the fact that they're updating these outdated technological references is a pretty smart move on their part, I think.
Got off of the train, and another 100 people just got off of the train, and another 100 people just got off of the train, and another 100 people just got off of the train. Another 100 people just got off of the train.
That was interesting, that ending. I mean, we're going even further into the grit, growl, bad technique zone, right? I say bad in quotations. Choosing not to use flawless classical technique as a character choice is not always a bad decision, and it's often a really, really good decision, like I think in this situation. But the ending is, and another 100 people just got off of the train. I think it's on a it's on a D sharp or an E or something, right? Another 100 people just got off of the train. Yeah, I think we were in E major and that was a D sharp at the end, because it's written to end on this note over this chord, right? Or a weird extended version of this chord, which I don't have the patience to look up right now, but it's some sort of like some sort of extended E major chord, right? And it ends, and the song is in E major, but it ends on a D sharp. So it ends on, if you look at the E major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. It ends on T. Where's the do, right? We want it to go to do. Ti, do. And that feels final, that feels like it's ended. But when you end on a D sharp, when you end on the T of the major scale, it feels incomplete. And I feel like, I mean, Sondheim he's Stephen Sondheim, right? He doesn't just throw notes in randomly. He probably wanted it to end on T because he wanted to have that feeling of another 100 people get off at the train and another 100 people, and then it never ends, right? There's always another 100 people. So even though the song is ending, the idea that there's another 100 people isn't ending. And so we're not going to end on train, the end. You know, we're not going to end on that final note. We're going to end on that train, that note that really feels like it wants to resolve, but it never does. It just stays there, so that it doesn't feel final. Bobby kind of, if you listen closely, train kind of bends the pitch upward at the end, so it almost feels like he's resolving a little bit, which makes the ending very satisfying. But I don't know if this is intentional, if it serves the message of the song to end on train on the E. I think it might serve the message of the song more to end on the D sharp that's reaching for the E. Then again, it's not super clear that he's choosing to resolve. It might be his vibrato is just wide and free enough that it feels not super clear which exact pitch he's on. So listen to it again and see if you can hear it, whether he's resolving or not. Because to my ear, he resolves up to the E. Where he switches vowels, right? Did you see that? Train! He switches from the A to the E. Train! And it almost sounds like train. It almost sounds like waving, waving, right? But it's not. It's train. It almost sounds like that. I'm not actually sure if that was intentional or not, or if it might just have been that the pitch bended when he changed vowels. Yay! There we go. That's there you go. That's a little bit of my thoughts on Bobby. I really want to say Bobby Conte. Bobby Conte's performance of Another 100 People from Company. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of video. What video should I do next? What performance should I react to? What song should I analyze? I do in-depth analyses of musical theater songs. You can check those out over here. And that's all I have to say. Come back. See you soon. Once again, my name is Mateo Chavez Lewis, and this is Music